price cycles are big. So let's start out small. So let me see your screen. So when I say that, we should adjust our layers in half right now. So if you're used to trading with like 4 trades per layer, let's just go ahead and put 2 trades on. In fact, let's go ahead and put 2 buys on right now. And so I'm not sure if
you forgot to get totals.
Thank you, man. You're on it.
I'm reminding you. This is your official reminder. The only one you get.
Hey, can you remind me in a second?
Remind me to remind you to remind me.
Let me pull it up. I think I have it up. But thank you. Appreciate it. It's a big thing. All right. Coming in at Patricio, what's your starting balance this AM?
Starting balance is 22,514.70.
Okay. Fool's not with us. Bless his heart. All right, Dad, what's your total this morning?
10,563.
And change? What's your change?
71.
Okay. Andrew?
5,225.48.
Okay. And Jimmy, where is your starting balance at?
Yeah, we're back at 5 because of the 1,001.
Got it. So you're starting a new account. Excellent. Okay. Thanks, guys. Appreciate it. Our goal today is to see if we can't hit 2%. Did you put, when I tell you to put a couple trades on, let's like a layer. So you should have put, you should have put 2 trades on here.
Yeah, it's for some reason it didn't. So,
okay, fine. All right. So we're coming into our action point, which is right here. So if it comes up here and stalls like it's doing right now, I'd go ahead and just take those off. What we're gonna go ahead and close out of your trades right there. Oh, new account stuff. All right, and then if it pulls back down into this area somewhere in here, go ahead and throw a couple more trades back.
Yeah. New monitor's on its way. So I think you guys can see it, so I have to stop.
Minimize. Messing with that. Yeah.
Yeah, I can't see over here.
All right. So there's 2 actions that could happen. 1, it could cross above that with the body, or 2, it could come down here and play. Now, you could have taken a sell for the come down because there's obviously enough price. I gotta pull mine up so I can just measure price cycle really quick.
Looks like we got about 2 to 3 pips.
Is it? It's hard to tell sometimes with these candles,
Yeah.
Okay, so you're scrunching in down because your view is not the same.
Is that better if I go higher? Or
all right, go ahead and throw another buy on. And another one. And we probably didn't just for me, I probably wouldn't have bought here because it's so close to the top right there. I would have wanted a pullback before we bought.
I should have waited for this candle to close, huh?
Mm-hmm. but that's all good. We'll see if it comes up here and stalls again, then we need to get out, and there's not a whole lot of profit on. There's not a whole lot of meat on the bone for those trades right there. So, okay. So here's your bottom is fighting the bottom right here. If it breaks through, it means it's probably going to come back and test the new lows, right?
Mm-hmm.
And then again, your action point is right there for the up. So you want it to break this with a body. And then if it comes up here and stalls, then you just get out and do it again.
The Latin lab's working already.
Hold on to that. Let's see if it's going to break through. And if it does, great. We'll hold on to our trades all the way up to here. If it closes with the body. And we got.
Can you see that pretty good? 10 seconds.
Mm-hmm. It's not. I don't think it's gonna. I don't think it's gonna do it.
Oh. Ah.
Oh, did you close out?
Yeah, so quick. Stall and I'm out of there.
Yeah. All right. So you closed out. So now you got to wait for another pullback.
Right.
I'm not sure I would have closed out there personally, because I think it was just coming
that was
down.
A slip of the finger.
I think it was coming down to do this.
Yeah.
Just retracing.
Slip of the finger. It's too anxious.
Yeah.
Too anxious this morning. And it's
So
only orange juice in here.
Here, oh, that's the wrong color. That's the wrong color. So this is our action point, and that's where you should have closed out.
Right.
Because you still got. Can you press the end button so we can just see there we go. I like to see how much time's left on the candle at all times. So if it doesn't finish above here, it could. If it comes back down to here, go ahead and throw a few more on. And it's looking like it is not going to pull back. So it means it probably will climb, test this action point on the 5-minute chart. And then if it crosses that, it'll go there. If you get a little bit of a pullback, let's go ahead and take it, as long as there is profit between here and the top, which there is on a little pullback. So if it comes down to here, go ahead and buy. Go ahead and buy. And then if it drops down below to here, we'll continue to buy.
So you're thinking it's going to break?
According to the 5-minute chart, I think it will come up and test this, which gives us, about 4 or 5 more pips.
Okay. So when you're looking at support and resistance,
the top. So your candles are all messed up. Your view is different than my view, so that's why I have to keep going back to my view, because I'm comfortable with it. It's really weird. You got to be able to keep a view and not mess with the size of the candles, so that you can get acclimated to that viewpoint. You mess with the size of the candles, and it messes with a lot of your decision making. All right. So if it comes up here and stalls, this one you want to get out. Oh, look, cool. You missed it. I was going to trade with you today.
Oh, I'm already done.
You can't be done.
I traded at
You can't be done. This
6:30 this morning.
You can't be done trading. You never done trading.
I know. Trying to hard to trade.
Oh, you know what? Thank you, Jimmy. I didn't notice that because you got the 1 hour over here on the right side.
Oh, I do.
Yeah, so that was a good call. That's why your candles are different than mine. All right, so here's the action point right here. If it crosses over, keep it. If not, if it comes back, we'll go ahead and get out, but it should keep it. And I'm looking for a top test of that. But we're not going to buy anymore because I don't think there's enough meat on the bone between here and here.
Right.
So we'd like to just hold on to these and see if it tests the top, and we'll see what it does. All right. I'd say go ahead and get out, and then we'll start looking for quick sell opportunities. I'm not going to say sell just yet because we still haven't touched the top of the 5 minute, but there's not enough meat on the bone. And you're at the end of a price cycle, so we don't want to buy right here, but you could start, if it holds above here, let's start getting into a few sells here. Let's just like one sell. Go ahead and pop a sell right there. Now I want to be light here just in case it does pop the top of this, but if it does pop the top, it still has this and this on the 5 minute chart it has to contend with. So I'm thinking there's a lot of barriers to continue to go up. But just in case it does, we want to just kind of be light until we get that confirmation that the sell is going to happen. So this is really getting in early on a sell, right? So I'm always okay to get in early with a trade or two to the price cycle turn and giving up those trades if it doesn't work out.
Sure.
All right, so
up real quick.
In order to get confirmation of the turn, where does it have to cross?
The next candlestick's below the body of this candlestick here.
Yep. So we got to get it to close here for a confirmation of that turn. So if it does pop up above that sell order, go ahead and throw another one on. And then if we do get confirmation and it comes down here and it comes back up, we'll go ahead and throw another layer on. So that's the move that I would wait for. Does that make sense?
Yes, sir.
Cool then. What's your starting and ending balance?
Starting is 64.74.82.
1 second. 64.70 what?
64.74 and 82 cents.
Okay. And then what's your ending balance? Or are you trading or not trading? Are you done trading?
I've been trading.
Okay. So we will get your end balance when it's ending time. Okay, so here's that candle holds. Then we got confirmation that we're going to have the price cycle is going to start coming down.
My finger, man, telling you, it's quick to draw today.
Oh yeah. Yes, you don't want to wait until the body closes.
Well,
that's all good. It's all good because you're extremely light, so
yeah,
you could take.
And then I want the pop up.
Right. Exactly. So it hasn't technically confirmed that we're getting that reversal. Right. I mean, you still could. I mean, this could be the test there. So got kind of a double top there. All right. So this looks like it's going to give us that confirmation right here. And
then I'm gonna wait
again,
for it to pop back up.
yeah, again, you got 20 seconds on the candle. So
Come on, Arabian Nights.
this is just the Aladdin theme this morning. Rub the lamp, Arabian Nights.
Yeah, my
Dead-
niece and I
Dead Sea
always
Scrolls.
watched it. My niece and I always watched it, and so that's what she sent me from Minnesota.
Oh, nice. That was
yeah,
your
for
birthday
my
gift. Happy birthday, by the way.
Yeah, thanks.
Happy birthday.
Happy birthday.
Yeah.
So we got confirmation now?
Yeah. So we're gonna wait till it pops up. I'm gonna ask you to put a couple more trades on right here,
Yep.
and then we'll nurse those if it does just give us a breakout. But I'd like to throw like 2 trades on here, so we get in a little bit, and then we're gonna go for this is our action point here, and then our other ones right here. I'm hoping that this is where we're gonna hit our take profit from this downtrend is right here. So that's on like let's kind of load up a little bit. I mean, we still don't want to get like too crazy just because we are going for larger pips, but right here's our action point.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
So in our action point, this is where go ahead and close those. And we're going to recycle them. So what I mean by that it didn't cross over, it kind of retreated. So if it comes back into here, or if it gets that pop up, we'll throw a few more on. So this is classic example of a recycling your trades. So go ahead and throw another one on right now. I just don't know if it's going to have enough momentum to go back up, right?
Mm-hmm.
But I'd rather take the profit. If it does, and it comes up and touches the top right there, go ahead again. Same place. This is your action point area right here. Hoping that we can get it to come down to right there for a take profit. I like it. Pete. Yeah, sure. You betcha. Giving fans to Canucks or shout out to the Canuck people. Don't you know? Yeah, really. One of the classic films that I grew up watching. I don't know if anybody's seen it, but it was Strange Brew. I don't know if you guys have ever seen that. It's like an old 80s flick.
Mm-mm.
It's like Rick Moranis and some other dude that's in it when he younger Rick Moranis.
Oh, I love Rick Moranis.
The McKenzie brothers. Yeah. Every time I hear, yeah, you betcha. Don't you know? That's I just think of that movie all the time.
Ah.
McKenzie brothers. If you know the movie, you know the song.
Well, I just like that noise. You should do it more often.
That's their rallying cry. And it's the
it?
rallying cry to get the market to go in your favor.
Oh, right. Nice.
So this is good. Go ahead and throw another sell on.
Okay.
If it pops above the top,
yeah,
then we have issues. But
right.
It's giving you a chance to get in. I mean, you don't have issues because we're trading extremely light. So, hey, you hoser, take off, eh?
You hoser, take off, eh?
I love it. Love it. You guys know it. I'm not the only one. Now everybody's going to have to watch it if you want to participate in the quote.
I'm on it.
You guys will be like, this is the stupidest movie ever. It's kind of one of those, if you've ever seen like, I know, I thought it was, I'm pretty sure it's Strange Brew, not the Great White North. Pretty sure it's Strange Brew. Hey, like, I heard, like, if there's a mouse in your beer, you get a free beer. The whole show is about them trying to get free beer. So it's one of those stupid, like, I don't know if you guys have seen Napoleon Dynamite, but that show like blew up. And the first time you watch it, you're like, I don't see why this is so popular. This is just the stupidest show ever. And then everybody was quoting it, and then the quotes were actually funnier than the movie. And that's
right.
kind of what this movie is.
And then that cult classic type.
Exactly.
Yeah.
All right. So if it comes down to here and stalls, we'll go ahead and get out and recycle because it looks like we might have started to get back into like normal price cycling after the news events kind of calm down here. So if that's the case, we'll go back into doing normal layers where you're doing 3 or 4 layers. We're only going to be getting like 4 to 5 pip price cycles.
No consolidation.
Oops. And here's your 0.1s. Trying to see if it'll come down and test the bottom of that. That's where I think it will go if it breaks this right here. I think we'll, but along the way, we're going to recycle our trades.
Yeah.
But we'll see. It might not go that way because this price cycle was so big and large. I mean, what was that? A 20 pip price cycle. So that was very, very much probably news related. So we'll see if we get consolidation here. If we get consolidation, it could very well pop up to here.
Test that high again.
So again, here's our action point on here. If you want to take a recycle, I'd do that right now.
Close out and then.
Yeah, I would.
As it tests a little bit more.
Could now you've made the decision that you're going to sit on it, but I would close out that one on the bottom for like $1 that you're taking a loss on. Okay, or your best profit.
Oh, I thought that's what you said.
I always like to close out on my worst loss and leave my profit on to fix it. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
Because if it pops up, it's going to go up and it's going to make that loss worse.
Right.
And so might as well take it off. And if it does pop up, I put it right back on.
Okay. So I could close out.
Well, right now, I'd wait till this candle closes and see what happens. So now you got 1 second to wait. And now I'd close out because it didn't break.
At everything and then just recycle.
I'm working to buys or
no.
See a pop, right?
If it pops up,
again,
we'll get into some sells again. Now, we just don't have enough. I don't think there's enough room to kind of play the consolidation.
Yeah.
And I don't think it's a strong consolidation. I think we're still kind of rounding the corner here.
Sure.
So yeah, on a pop up, go ahead and get into some buys.
Or sells.
Thank you. Yep. Even now, if it pops up, because it just broke, it broke. If so, it pops up, go and get in sells.
But I wanted to pop up to that point, or is it a?
Yeah, well, hopefully, any pop. But hopefully it will kind of come back up and retest. Usually a lot of times I see that on a candle, but kind of breakout candle, you'll see a pullback of the next candle, not like a closing of the body pullback, but at least a wick pullback.
Okay.
And if it doesn't give us that, then they got a continuation of this drop. And it's testing here. So this is where you should see. But if it crosses this line right here and you're not heavy, then we'll look
for.
We'll look for buys.
Okay.
Because it's kind of, not saying that it's kind of turned over, but we're going to get into early looking for a bounce off of here or a bounce off of here. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
But if you get a pullback, so basically we're riding it down for a price cycle back up. Does that make sense? Okay, so go ahead. Yep. Now our price action is going to be our action point.
Put it back here.
well, our action point is going to be still right here.
Mhm.
And so that's what I was waiting.
If
That's
I
what
get
I was waiting
if I
for.
get a stall on that, should I just take it?
Mm-hmm. So it did
Did that
pop back
push up?
up and test
Yeah.
that. And so you did exactly great. You just got back in right there. Let's see.
And then as it tests that, and then recycle again.
Yeah, but let's
Should I wait for the
see.
body?
Well, let's see. It's testing right this second.
Right.
So let's see if it fails the test or passes, right? Are you going to get a pass or fail? So I think it's going to fail.
So probably just close out.
Sure. As it passes as it goes down.
Right.
But it's never a bad thing to put profit, right? To bank,
Right.
to book profit. Never a bad thing. So now we'll start looking for a buy here.
For buys.
Yep. So this red line is still your action point now for your buys. So the
I
same
think
thing.
I got some room, right?
Yeah, I think so.
Yeah.
So the same thing, if it comes up and touches that, that's when you want to get out. So go ahead and throw another one on. You're going to continue to, if it keeps coming all the way down to there, we'll continue to buy. So I want you in about I want you in about 4 trades per layer right now.
Okay, so we've switched.
Yeah,
Okay.
I'm going to switch back because let's make some money.
Yeah.
Price cycles are still pretty large though. That's okay. So we're going to see if it,
This, put another 4 on.
I mean, not like all in the same location, but yeah, just look for opportunities to stacking in. If it does break that, where are we going? Go ahead and throw some more on right now. Yeah, go ahead. Just kind of like we were just trying to get in early off the reversal, right?
Mm-hmm.
The price cycle. Again, you have 2 action points right here. I would wait and sit on this one just because you have a couple trades here.
Mm-hmm.
But if it's going to come up here and like not break, then we want to get out. And if it does cross this with a sell, our next point is here and here.
Mm-hmm.
But we've definitely, obviously, we ran a full price cycle up, full price cycle down. So if it fails to price cycle back up, what we don't want to be in is 2 price cycles down, which would put us testing the bottom of that. So I don't know if it's going to do that, but it could. So that's why I always kind of like game plan for, what happens if. All right. So here we go. Like I said, just touch that and just retreated. I'm scared.
Okay, we got the break.
Yeah, go ahead and throw a couple more on. Again, if it comes back up to here, let's get out.
Okay.
Can you show me your account info right there? Just want to make sure that if it does come up to here, one of the things you want to see is that this is breaking even or positive, right?
Right.
It's probably going to come down and test that right there. If it does, let's throw one. Let's throw one on. Well, too late. Too late. It retreated.
As it comes here now, throw one on.
Mm-hmm.
And this is kind of part of that what if.
Yeah. Well, we don't have an execution. Like if it does come down here and break there, then we need to flip into some cells and start working through our trades, right?
Mm-hmm.
But that means that we got a double price cycle that's happening. Could very well do that just because I'm looking at the 5 minute. Looks like there's an M that's forming on this 5 minute.
Yeah, right here.
Mm-hmm. So that means it could come down and break that. So if it does come up here and test that action point, let's go ahead and get out. Just got to kind of cross this first to do that, to test that with the body.
With the body.
There's not closed, but again, looking at like making sure we're breaking even on that, on those trades.
Mm-hmm. Or as close to as possible.
Mm-hmm.
Ooh.
Got the body closed.
Oh yeah.
It's a good sign. But this candle, like I was saying earlier,
Yeah.
even though the body closed, if this candle does close lower, then that means like, no, it's just this candle becomes an exhaustion candle,
Yes. Yeah.
right? It says one last ditch effort, but you got 30 seconds before this candle smacks this candle for trying to go up. No, get back down. Shouldn't have tried. Don't even try. And 10 seconds, starting to feel like that's going to be an exhaustion candle.
Mm-hmm.
Yep. Okay. So because it did that, if it comes up here and tests, you're going to get out of your buys. I don't think it will before we get another price cycle. Hopefully it's not 20 pips. Hopefully we don't see a 20 pip run. Could. So because of that, we're going to try and lighten. So get out of your worst losses. So come over here to where your profit is on here and make sure that that's, your worst losses kind of at top or whatever, so that you can get out of that first. I wouldn't get out until right now because it would be taking a max loss, right?
Right.
So, but we're going to, if it pops up, we'll get out. And then we're going to look for opportunities to stack some trades, some high probability trades to negate the losses that we're looking to take. Does that make sense?
Yep.
So we know we're going to
reverse our
probably
bias.
exactly. Well,
Well,
I don't know about reversing. We're just looking for opportunities to stack trades on, and I don't care where they come from, buys or sells.
okay.
But I thought you said reimbursing, and I'm like, yeah, that's it. We're gonna
Yeah,
reimburse.
we're
We're
gonna
gonna
reimburse
we're
our
looking for
losses.
ways to reimburse our loss. Because
Yeah.
we know we're gonna take this as a loss. Right? So I thought you said reimbursing. I'm like, exactly.
Sure. That's exactly what I said. Exactly what I said.
So right here. The only thing that could change my thought process is if we get a body that closes above that.
Right.
Right.
But I should still look the lighten anyways as soon as it started to touch this or it closes that.
Sure. I mean, you're not in really
So heavy. Yeah.
I mean, you're in heavy enough that we don't want it to run against us another price cycle, right? And that's what I'm really kind of worried about is this M that's forming. Usually when you see an M that forms, it could break this whole bottom.
Mm-hmm.
That's what I'm more concerned about. I'm not really concerned about how heavy of a position you're in. I'm more concerned about this action happening. Do you know what I mean?
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
And that we're on the wrong side of that action. So I'm trying to go ahead because of this big stall right here.
Start lightening.
Yeah. And then let's go ahead and throw on a few cells too. And then because there's profit down here on the bottom, right? That should be at least 3 to 4. Yeah. All right. So look, let's wait a second. Let's see if it's going to pop up. Right. Let's see if it'll pop up any higher. If not, then let's close out of our buys, which is right here. Go ahead and close out of your buys right there. That's a stall. And that gave you an opportunity.
Oh, I guess I could just use this
Yep. If you
little
hurry,
thing.
you just got to double click it. Oh, what'd you do? You got cells too?
I just
Go ahead and
dragged that
throw it.
over to close longs. But yeah, guess that's
I think you must have clicked the close shorts. All right. So now we'll see. So now it can do two things. I'm not saying we're really in the short right now game. It could have reversed on us. Like it has to cross this for it to be like, okay, we're price cycling back up. Right.
okay.
So I'm not necessarily trading for this move right here, but I am in that direction and I feel comfortable that if that move does happen, we're able to take advantage of it. However, if it comes up here and price cycles all the way back up, now we're into early sells on a price cycle. So this is perfect. We just kind of want to be light on the sells in case it pops up here. But if it doesn't pop up, and it crosses this with the body, when it goes back up, we'll get into some more cells.
Makes sense. Okay. Oh, why does it bring them back on? WMT4.
Thanks, Ed. Appreciate that. With the next news is the top of the hour. Anytime you guys call stuff out, that's awesome. It just makes our job that much easier. All right. So it gave us that little bit of it hasn't really crossed with the body yet, but we'll see what it does. Tested those lows. Probably should have gotten out on that stall.
On that stall. Yeah.
Okay. But that's okay. Just always look for an opportunity on a stall. If you have profit, take a profit and recycle. It's kind of just like the MO, right?
The MO.
The modus operandi.
Oh, see, too fast.
Yeah, too fast. So you only want to do that on action points.
Yeah. Yeah.
That's our action point right there.
Right.
That's okay. Again, if it comes back up, get in. Clear the drawings. Action point here. Action point here. Ed's calling that it should drop. So we'll see. Ed.
I like it, Ed.
He's always correcting. Love it. He has the crystal ball this week.
Crystal ball.
There's no crystal ball in Aladdin.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, no, I was just gonna say that, Ed. You know, you have the crystal ball, I have the 8-ball. Outlook not so good. Ask again later. That's all I get. I am always correct. I love that. What's that quote? This from what's that? That's from Anchorman. 60% of the time, I'm correct 100% of the time. Something like that. I might have butchered it.
Now, am I 4 trades in on each level still, or?
I would. Yeah, let's go ahead. I mean, I don't like stacking trades on top of trades. So I just look for opportunities. Like if it pops up a little higher, I'll throw one on. So if you're going to throw a layer on, you kind of want it inside of this box. Like go ahead and throw another one on right now. It popped up, right? And I'd continue to stack on trades all the way up to this into a selling position. But the only time I'm ever stacking trades on top of each other is if you were to get like a big candle just shot out of nowhere, I'd smack sells on as much as I could. Does that make sense?
Right.
That's really the only time that I'm looking to stack trades on top of each other.
So what would you say is a trend right now?
Down.
Yeah.
Only guns to the 5-minute. I mean, the overall trend is still up for the long term, but in our trading session, it's been down. Does that make sense? And the only time it would change that, is if it crosses up here. That's where my bias changes from the trend, like really kind of right here. So, but I'm not really following a trend per se. I'm more wobbling on a 10 to 20 pip price cycle. So I'm buying at the top, or I'm selling at the top, buying at the bottom of these price cycles. And we've been pretty light because there've been 10 to 20 pip price cycles. Does that help, Patricio?
Yeah. I mean, I guess what I've learned is as long as you're light, you can also turn around. And
Right.
with zero take profits, you're gonna be quick on the draw just to take the profits, like right now.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. And so our average take profit has probably been still 3, 4, maybe sometimes 5, but I'd say average has probably been 3 to 4. Wouldn't you say, Jimmy, about that? So we're still wobbling. It's just we're allowing ourselves with the zero take profit that if it does break in our favor and get us that 10 pips or whatever, we're allowing that opportunity to happen. Does that make sense? And that's the thing I love about zero take profits, but it's a skill set for sure, because you still have to bank your profits. Like if Jimmy never took his profits, he'd be still sitting on his first layer, right? Waiting for something to happen. But we know Jimmy, he likes to
He's too quick.
trigger happy. So right there, you see that?
Yeah, so that's what I was
Yeah.
like. It did it.
Missed it.
Since it didn't basically come down to
Didn't
this
come
area.
down, right? But it still
But
came down,
still
and
should've.
it still should have because it was close enough on the stall, right?
Right. Okay.
So the stall is a major contributing factor when you're playing with zero take profits, right?
Really got to be on it.
Right. Because you could have recycled those right now.
Right.
You know what I mean?
Yep.
Now just going to come up and test that action point right there.
Right.
Thanks, Pete. Pete's saying there's like some news coming on into the market in about 10 minutes ish, top of the hour. So if that's the case, which, it is, because, we're never ever going to call Pete a liar. We want to make sure that we're light, right? Want to make sure we're light when we know there's news coming in to the market. And I would consider with 6 trades, 60, that you're pretty light, but I'd still look for opportunities to get out. I mean, not like we're not desperately looking, but like, again, on the price cycle, like right now, it's kind of stalling. There you go.
And then wait for a pop and sell again.
Probably because there's not enough meat on the bone for a buy right now. I think there is to the top of that, and there probably could have been just a quick buy, which you could have taken that, but now that opportunity has been removed by the
Your
market.
opportunity has been revoked.
So right there, you could have sold though.
Right.
Should have. Right on the
Should've,
top of that. Should have.
Yeah.
And for it to come back down and test the low of that candle, and then I would have pulled off just a quick sell. Okay. Let's see here. Let's wait. No, go ahead. I'm gonna flip into looking for some buys right now.
Okay. So should I get out of these
No,
real quick?
on the once you get profit, so coming back down into here,
Yeah.
maybe. Because we're starting to see this channel start to form a little bit.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
I'm waiting for the news for sure. It's going to happen. But trading light. So not stopping the trade, but we'll trade light, like 2 trades, 3 trades if there's a good opportunity. But I'm also kind of thinking, well, you never know with news. It's a coin toss, so we'll see.
Now we're looking to
Did you have
put some
profit?
buys, right?
Did you have profit on that?
Yeah.
Like, was it pennies?
Couple bucks. Couple bucks.
Couple of bucks, a couple of bucks.
He was thinking to get in some buys, right?
Yeah, but I was thinking that it could come down here before I would get out my sells. But that's just,
Quick draw McGraw today. Telling you.
I know, you're a little ants in the pants. We're going for Coke money. I love it. Coca-Cola. Diet. Just kidding. No, I don't do diet. I do Coke Zero. There's no take profit in Coke Zero though.
Right.
Go ahead. If it pops down, let's go ahead and put a buy on because it's kind of stalling right there. And then if it just one. Let's not be triggered.
Just one.
Yeah, we're going real light because news is coming in. So remember that. So we don't want to have two trades kill all of our profit for the day, right? Because
Sure.
I don't think we're going to get like news that's going to run 100 pips on us. Right. But we should be able to withstand like a shot down. I'm hoping that we'll get a shoot down or shoot up and then news, right? So we'll fade the candle of that first move if you get a candle shot. Does that make sense?
Yep.
So it's obviously coming into a small. Candles are starting to get smaller. In my mind, it's starting to kind of wind up. The coil's winding up for a spring. So again, if it does shoot up into a buy, you're going to want to quickly close and then quickly sell. If it shoots into a sell, we'll buy and keep these buys on. And then if it comes back and stalls right there, we'll get out of everything. So that's your action. You got that?
Yep. So I can start to build at this area here.
No, I wouldn't put anything on until the news pops because we're so close right now. So I'm just telling you what your action is, right? Boom, boom, boom. How you doing, guys? Patricio, how's your trading this morning? How you doing?
It's been good. I've been lagging a little bit behind you guys, but I'm positive. So far so good.
Good. Pops, how you doing?
Oh, no, between 1% and 2% right now.
Okay, good. Usually when you hear, don't ask me. It's like
I'm just trying to figure it out.
Andrew and Cool aren't saying anything. So
well,
when I say how you're trading, everybody's quiet. That's a good indication. How's trading going?
Well, you were working your way down the list. I was waiting my turn.
All right, how's trading going, Andrew?
It's going. I mean, I'm positive, but it's not great. So.
Cool's face
I'm
right
good.
there.
I'm good. I'm up 3% on LBO and 1% on LMFX.
Awesome. So you're teaching class tomorrow.
Yay.
I'm trying to anticipate what you're saying, and I think I got not all of them, but I missed a few of them. But I'm the
recycling of the trades.
Yeah.
That's been the opportunity here in this session for sure today, right? Is like just recycling those trades and filling the profit, recycling, filling profit. All right. So we got 1 minute left.
I'm just not quick enough yet to get the recycle in on time. It's
sure it does take a minute because you got to be quick. It has to be more reaction than thinking. Right?
Yeah.
There's our pop.
Sell.
Pop. Yeah, go ahead and throw a couple on. Now get out. Oh, I was going to say get out of your cell.
Why is it this stupid alert?
Because you're slippage, right? So
shoot, I had a sell on. Son of a gun.
That's okay. If you have a sell on and wait for that pullback, how'd you lose $14 on that? Man, the spread must have got you.
Not me.
Well, the spread's not bad.
Oh.
Yeah, go ahead and
fade it a little more.
Yeah. How'd you lose $14? Weren't you in a buy? We're gonna have to go see that and see what that spread was. If it was like a 10 pip spread, that's what we should have had you had that open, but the spread's not bad. It's only 1 right now. But that spread could have been monstrous. All right. So here, if it pops above this, I don't know if it will. It's not. It's having a hard time. But we got to now we got to recover on that $14. So let's wait a second, see if it pops.
On the 5-minute chart, it says I've made 14. Oh, that's 14.
That's 70. Yeah. Yeah, the spread must have got you because you got out right when it was happening. And then we should look at that. Yeah, spread jumped 3 to 4. So Nick's saying.
Who said it was gonna drop down? Because I'm kicking that person.
Oh no, it did drop down.
Did.
It did. The wick, yeah, and then they got out. So that's what it did. So the first initial candle always pops up and comes back down. And that's exactly how you play that. And then the true right now, the news is coming in. So that's when it's like, then I would have bought off that come down.
That come down, yeah.
Right. But that's how typically how you trade news is that first initial move, then it comes back, and then you see if it continues that way or if it's doing what it's doing now, you play that. But we'll see. Here's our action point right there. So yeah, go ahead and sell off that, and then we're gonna need to kill off those trades right there. We're gonna need to start looking to get out of those ones.
Mm-hmm.
If it crosses this, which I don't know if it will, but if it does, we'll if it pulls back too, get a little bit of a pull back down to here and buy and get out of those sells. So spread's still good.
How much of a pullback to this point that you highlighted?
Yeah. So right now we're waiting for the news event to end. We're still really light, so I wouldn't really go heavy on anything right now. So we're waiting for the news event to end, and then we'll start once the news, like it's still really jittery. You see how the candle's really jittery.
Yeah.
So that means that you're either coming into the end of the news and it's trying to stabilize, but it hasn't yet. So what we'll do after the news events kind of calm down and you start seeing some consolidation sideways, then you play the fib levels, right?
Mm-hmm.
So, but this is still the kind of aftermath of that news, right? They're now everybody's like, okay, they're saying the news is exactly what we thought it was going to be, or it was kind of out in left field, right? And again, it's a news event, but see, what did it move to on the pop? It moved 30 pips up. So if you do get this break right here, you could look for a retracement down to here. But if not, like I said, I would get out and flip into buys. We got 10 seconds. Might as well wait and see what it does. All right, go ahead and get out. And then let's flip into a buy. And then play to the top of that range. You go in, like buy again. We need enough meat on your buys to actually make us some money. Mm-hmm. So gotta go in a little more, and don't do it now because there's not enough meat on the bun to the top. But I would have probably put like 2 layers on right here, and then another 2 layers right here if it comes down. Because you got to make up for those losses, right?
Right.
So here, we're going to see if it tests that, breaks that. If it breaks that. I didn't say get out.
Yeah, I know.
You should not have gotten out.
I'm trying to anticipate what you're saying.
Let's focus on doing it after I say it.
Mm-hmm.
You should not have gotten out there because you're going to miss another pop to the high side. And that would have recovered all of your trades right there. All right. So now because you did that, if you get a spike down, now you're looking for a spike down, right? And I don't know if you're going to get it, but you can't buy right now. It's just not a good place to buy because you're at the end. So you got to wait for it to pull back, or you got to wait for consolidation and then play the fib level if it decides to fib down. Mm-hmm. But I would not have gotten out of your buys because I knew that this was going to happen. It's going to come all the way up to here, which would have probably made you another 50, 60 bucks between there and there. So I want to go back to Andrew to make sure that you understand the concept because you're brand new. So what I was saying at the very beginning, hey guys, if it comes up to here though, if you guys are holding on to buys, I'd get out right there. That's a good get out point, and then let it come back down. So you should have gotten out if you didn't get out. You missed an opportunity. Let it come back down. Let it do its thing, and you could add in right now for another comeback to the top. As long as there's enough meat there.
Is there?
Right. Long meat on the bone, basically. And what's our spread? So our spread's still good. So go ahead and if it comes down to here, go ahead and throw a 1 buy on, Jimmy. See if we can't
test the water.
Still come back up to the top. And if it stalls, take it off. And if it shoots past it, you might as well gobble it up. Now we're talking gas money. Love it. I kind of had a feeling that it was going to break higher. That's why I'm hedging buys down here, but shouldn't have gotten out, I guess. All right. So remember, I think Patricio said, what's our trend?
Mm-hmm.
So because of news can be trend changers. And I'm not saying that we've definitely changed the trend because all of this is still news. And when the news stops, it could retrace all the way back 100% and still keep us in the trend.
How long is the effect of the news typically? 5 minutes, 10 minutes afterwards?
You can't really say, but it's when the news, until you start seeing a consolidation, right? So, but I want to go back to explain that point that I was talking about because Jimmy tried to play it exactly what I was saying. And I think the spread just got him here and then you shouldn't have got out right there. No, it was the 19. Definitely should have got out there because that was your sells, right? So definitely should have got out there, but shouldn't have got out there because you would have been able to gobble up another right here, all the way up to there, right? Mm-hmm. So now, because if this candle does hold blue, I'd get out of your buys. If it holds blue, not necessarily in action, just it's holding blue. That means that you have sellers entering the market trying to push it back down, right? So kind of a rule of thumb whenever I'm running or letting a take profit run, kind of a rule of thumb is on a news event, right? If I see a blue candle, I'll get out. But if the body definitely, like if I was down here on buys, I'd probably wait for a body close off the next candle. And if the body closed off that next candle, that's my get out point. So I don't really have any more action points I'm looking for. I'm looking for a reversal signal, right? And a reversal signal usually comes when the body closes of the last candle. So if the body closes and you're holding on to buys from right here, I would get out but sometimes it doesn't. Sometimes it comes down here and decides to continue. That's kind of how I play that personally, is just kind of waiting for a reversal signal. Once you get that reversal signal, I'd get out of all of my trades or buys, I should say. again, I want to go back and explain this to Andrew of what I was talking about, so that during this trading session that we've picked to trade, we're going to get more news events, right? It is the most common hour of the day for news events. So we're going to be trading more news events during this hour. So it's good to get this kind of practice in. So whenever you get a news event that shoots up, it almost always is followed by a retracement. And it did that. It shot up and it came all the way back down. And when it does that, if you're into buys, you get out here and you smack that for sells. No matter the first candle that pops up. If it pops up, you sell. If it pops down, you buy. And then as soon as it pulls back and stalls, that's when you get out. Right? That's where you get out. And it did that on this candle. It bought and it shot up and then it shot all the way back down. And that's what he tried to do. However, the one thing that we didn't take into consideration was the spread. And we should have had that pulled up, which, Jimmy, right here is your spread.
Yeah.
So whenever we have a news event, that's one thing that we need to add, is making sure that spread's always there. Right. So that's why he played it correctly, but lost because of the spread. And then if it shoots up, you fade it, comes back down, you wait to see if you're going to get a continuation of that candle. If it doesn't, then you smack buys onto there. And that's exactly what happened here on this trade right here. Is it shot up, came back down, stopped, and I don't know if it came all the way down here, probably came down to here, stopped. That's when you should have gotten to buys.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
So, and this Friday, we're going to trade non-farm.
Yeah.
And normally on a non-farm, you get big candles. Sometimes you can get 20 to 30 pip candles, and then it follows back with a 20 to 30 pip. And so that's why you trade that. Now we're kind of fibbing. Now it's the fib levels here.
Mm-hmm.
So now we're trying to kind of correct what the markets, the sellers are coming in the market saying, that was a news event. Let's see if we can't stabilize what just happened. And so now you start playing the fib levels. So here's your fib level right here, if you want to throw that on the chart.
That was from the low to high, remember, right?
Yeah, I mean, your first choice would have been probably better because it's off the news event, and that's where the news event started. So I think if you double click on any one of those lines, you can adjust it. Yeah, there you go. All right. So when you're trading the fib level, it's like, okay, it's crossed this, it should come down to here. If it crosses this, it should come down to here. Now I say should because you're still dealing with an aftermath of a news event. And usually I've seen where it's pulled pretty true to the fib levels, but you never say absolutes or 100% when you're trading.
Right.
How did everybody do on that? I mean, everybody in this, so Josh, Nick, how'd you guys do? Just curious. Ed, did you guys trade the news good? Anybody?
I didn't trade it well.
Anyway, walk away, did okay. Khalid traded light. Good. And that's what you do with news, right?
Mm-hmm.
I messed up. So
it's okay. We're not your priest. You don't need to repent.
I don't know.
But you do need to put some money on the plate so we can keep trading.
Father Moffat. Huh?
So we're sitting on our hands right now?
Kind of, only because we're up against the clock on the trading time. I mean, I could trade all day, but I'm just going to say Let's see.
Play these fibs and
Yeah, I would play the fib, right? So if it comes down to here, though, I'd probably buy just to. Well, you need to clean up your chart because I don't know if that's an action point or just looks like an action point. So this is your sure.
Spend all day cleaning these things up.
Yeah. There's a couple things in Trader Agent that we need to do for you to not have those.
Okay.
But because I took those off completely because it was just getting messy. So if it comes down here, I definitely look for a price cycle back up. So I wouldn't be selling right now, but let me tell you guys you could buy right here and throw a few buys on. But I'm really going to just tell you guys what to do, like what I would do in this situation. I don't think we're going to trade through it just because we're up against our clock. But I would definitely be looking for it came down. So there's a price cycle. So I'd look for a price cycle up to right here. But it did cross over on the fib. So I continue to play the fib all the way down to here because this should be like that line of that 62% somewhere in there. And then this would be 100% retracement. So basically, if it crosses over here,
which is your 62,
yeah, I would play that 100% retracement, right? But before it gets there, I don't think it's going to just come all the way down and do that. So before it gets there, it's going to bounce up. It probably will take this kind of a journey, right?
So there's going to be some action on the buy side. And
for sure, there's going to be some action on both sides, right? And so that's what I'm saying. I would play the buy, even though my bias is, getting that retracement off the fib.
And just pretty light, right?
Trade light, but also, knowing where your action points are. So like right there, if it stalls, right? And again, it has to cross over here in order for it to get into that, to play for that 100% retracement, right? So I would definitely throw your fibs back on, maybe over here on the 5 minute. So fib that out on the 5 minute. And then that's the way I would play the aftermath of news. And I always do is the fibs on that. Because a lot of times, not all the times, but a lot of times you do get that 100% retracement off of a major or a news event.
Right.
Not a lot. Well, John, that's awesome. Is that an Alveo? Because you were right on the cusp of getting kicked out of Alveo and you bring me all the way back. That's awesome. If that's Alveo. Right?
That's always a good thing. Coming back.
Josh has a good comment. You get a lot of trouble when you're heading. Oh gosh. Trying to think. I had this like really great analogy over the weekend, and I was going to share it with you guys. Oh, so I remember because I was going through some of my old marketing stuff, and I don't know if you guys know this. So I know maybe everybody that knows me, but when I first started with Apiary back in 2012, I was brought on as the marketing guy, and so I had no idea how to trade, but I knew how to market and how to increase sales and on bringing people into the opportunity. And actually, Jimmy was with me at that time, and Jimmy and I worked for another company that Sean had actually found us at this other company and had hired us for the other company. And then that company decided to outsource basically to India. And then Jimmy and I said, you know what? Our favorite client is local. So we walked into Sean's office and said, hey, Sean, what if we bring our team over and work directly, for you? Because they're dissolving the branch that we worked at or whatever. And it was just like a good fit and everything. This is back in 2012. So that's kind of how we got started, is the marketing. So I was kind of like resurrecting some of the old stuff because my wife had me looking through old pictures and stuff because she wanted to, again, throw some stuff up. And I found all this old marketing stuff that I had from like 10 years ago. And I found your Jimmy Bucks.
Oh, did you?
Yeah, it was back in there. So we used to have incentives for our team members, and we give them Jimmy bucks, and they could buy
Dave dollars.
Dave dollars. But anyways, I was listening to one of these ads that I had out there on the radio for apiary, and it started with that. The other day I was on Facebook and I was reading an article on Facebook of what successful people do, and it was really interesting to see that number 8 or something like that on the list of habits that successful people have is that they brush their teeth every night.
Mm-hmm, mm-hmm.
And so I'm like, what does brushing your teeth have to do with being successful? Right. And it's all about successful people have successful habits. And it's not necessarily habits that are formed in money making. It's just in life in general, they have successful habits. And so I was thinking about that, and I was thinking, that's kind of true with trading. It's like I'm constantly telling everybody to go light, right? And to start light and go heavy. And I'm constantly saying that because you never know when the market's going to shift on you. And if it does go against you and you're starting light, that's when you start to get heavy, right?
Right.
Go ahead and just, if it was me, I'd throw a few cells off of that just to test that top and pick up some quick profit down to here. But the point of it was basically that if we start creating these successful habits in trading that are good, irregardless of what the market is doing, if we fall back on those habits. So the lesson of this trading session is trying to figure out, not necessarily the news, but trying to figure out how to recycle your trades, right?
Mm-hmm.
Because that is a successful habit in trading. If you can truly learn how to recycle your trades, get out, get in, get out, get in, get out, get in, you're going to be a better and more consistent trading. And I would say that recycling your trading is a skill set. Like, it's not going to make you a ton of money, but it's like brushing your teeth. It's a successful habit that we need to have.
Right.
Dave, I don't know if this has anything to about brushing my teeth. I don't know if you were a fly on the wall last night or anything like that. But regardless of the case, in recycling thing, it's interesting because it's the first time I'd even look at my percentages. I was just concentrating, just recycling. And then all of a sudden I looked down and I was up 4%, 4.2%.
In what account? Just curious.
In my Alveo.
Oh, sweet. That's awesome.
Yeah.
Are you trading Alveo today?
I'm doing both.
Okay, that's a skill set. That's a skill set for sure to do both at the same time. Because I can't. And I'm like, man, I wish I would have been able to trade my account. But I can't. And I won't when I'm teaching. It's just too hard because then I tend to ignore the person that I'm teaching if I'm trading my own account. Just a minute. Let me fix this. Don't talk to me.
That's a skill in teaching and trading at the same time that
for sure.
I'm not even close to it.
Jimmy, go ahead and get out of that sell when on a pullback and then flip into buys because it's going to come up. So it's going to come up and test the top range. Pete, I'm just going to answer that. Okay, thanks. Pete just shot me an email privately shot me an email. I'll look at that. I'll look at it right after this class. Well, I got another meeting, so after that meeting, but I will look at it and get back to you today. I appreciate that. I don't get a whole ton of emails in my apiary account, and so I tend to not really check it all that much. So I appreciate you shooting me a shout out saying that you sent me an email.
I should have got out on any pullback.
On any pullback and then flip because I knew it was going to come up and test that top range. But if it comes up and tests the top range, man, it could be another sell opportunity here too.